welcome to another episode of the Players Place podcast. Today, joining us, we have Ayo Flanagan, Charlotte Independence player, decorated college player as well. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to be here.
So to get us started, I just wanted to start off with saying just the beginning. So we're gonna start off we're gonna dig deep from beginning till now, and then we're gonna touch on some of your goals and stuff. I'm not gonna try and keep you here too long, but I just wanted to start off with the question. At what age did you start playing? Who really got you? Who really got you into soccer, and who really got you going, or what was it that motivated you?
But so yeah, I want to say I was 5, 4, maybe 5, and that's around the time that my stepdad came to my life, and he introduced myself and my sister into soccer and lacrosse. And before that, I was just playing football. So when I first got introduced to soccer, I was playing football and soccer at the same time. But he's the one that introduced me at like the age of 5 or whatnot.
And then you grew up. You grew up in Maryland.
Yeah, I grew up in Baltimore.
Okay, okay. And then did you ever play? You ever play high school soccer or no?
So my freshman and sophomore year, I played at Loyola Blakefield. It's a private school in the Towson area. Uh, After that, that's when I went to academy after my freshman and sophomore year.
Okay. And then I know that you know a bunch of those DC United boys. Did you
Yeah,
play at DC?
yeah. So I went to DC my junior year of high school. Was there for my junior year and then half of my senior year, and then I went back to play with Baltimore Armor halfway through my senior year.
Okay. You didn't have to do residency at all, did you?
No, I didn't do residency. Drove an hour up and back every day. It was a drag,
Okay, okay.
but yeah.
So how was that? How was the atmosphere of the DC United Academy, and how was that environment like?
I think from the level that I was playing at before, it was definitely like a step up and whatnot. I wouldn't necessarily say the professionalism was a step up. Um, DC United's Academy has progressively gotten better. As you see, a lot of young talents coming from the academy. But before, back then, it was kind of not new, but it wasn't necessarily at the level that all MLS academies are at now. So in terms of professionalism, I don't think it was still like I was playing club soccer in a sense. But in terms of the quality of players we had on our team and the players that I was going up against in the other MLS academies, it was definitely a step up from where I was at.
Did when you were there, did they have a second team when you were there?
No. I want to say Loudon started either my freshman or sophomore year of college.
Okay, yeah, because I know there's more opportunities now for those kids that are playing in those MLS academy because
Yeah.
they could just take the jump. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
because I was gonna ask if you trained with them at all or had any experience with them
Yeah.
while you're in the youth.
So when I first joined DC, my junior year, before I before I even trained with the academy team, I trained with the first team a couple times. So that was pretty
Wow.
sick. The guys on my team they weren't jealous, but they were kind of jealous in a sense, and I was just like, hey, I got no control over that. Like that's what they set up. But I trained with the first team a handful of times. I don't necessarily have a certain number, but I was in and out with the first team a little bit. Um, Kind of led to so my senior year, I actually took online classes, so I had the ability to train with the first team as well. So,
Okay. And then you went after you left DC United and you went back to Baltimore Armor, was going to college was that your first priority? Did you want to go play college soccer,
um,
or were you trying to?
yeah, honestly, I wanted to go to college. My sister went to college at University of Florida for lacrosse, and just seeing her go through college, and she was a senior when I was a freshman in college. So seeing her experience college and all the memories that she had, it wasn't really a thought that I would not go to college. When the colleges came around and started talking to me, it was a no-brainer that that was the path I was going to take.
Yeah. So now that we're in the college topic, during your recruiting during your recruiting process, how'd that go first? Like, explain that. Like, how was that like for you? And then, like, I had a question at the end for you. Was like, what was your top three before you chose USF?
Um, my phone 1 second. So I actually had a kind of a crazy recruiting process. Trying to think. I'm gonna tell you my top two initially was Duke and Maryland. I was actually committed to Duke. I actually got a full ride, which is unheard of, to be honest, because their tuition's
Yeah,
so much money. So it's kind of like a no-brainer to take that. But my senior year, um, it was signing day my senior year. I get a call from the coach saying I can't get in through admissions due to my test scores and whatnot. So it kind of put me in a hole. I was talking to a lot of teams before I committed to Duke, and once I committed to Duke, which was my junior year, obviously you're not talking to those other teams anymore. So the
yeah,
coach called me. It was kind of a sticky situation. Honestly, it was I was really down at that point. I was like, geez, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But kind of reopened the recruitment and whatnot. Started talking to a couple of different teams that was already recruiting me previously. I was talking to Wake a little bit, seeing if it was too late to get in through their admissions. Because now I'm like, it's the spring right before summer where you'd go into your freshman year of college, and I'm just literally last minute trying to get a scholarship somewhere or whatnot. Or if I couldn't get one, I'd have to take a gap year. So that's kind of where I was at. Duke was like, we understand, like if you want to see if you can go somewhere else this upcoming season, if you want to take a gap year and go somewhere else, or take a gap year and try to come back here to Duke. Um, so that and that actually happened to two other recruits in the same class going to Duke as well, like myself. But luckily, the I think I want to say he was the general manager or whatnot of Baltimore Armor, or he might have just been, I don't even know, one of the old heads that be just hanging around or whatnot. You don't really know his title, but you know he's important. He
yeah, yeah.
actually, I want to say, I think he coached with or coached my head coach at South Florida, Bob Buthorn. So when he found out that I was available, they saw me play at IMG that but I was committed to Duke, so they couldn't pursue it. USF came around, went down to USF, committed literally while I was on campus, just because I saw the basically the campus in general. Florida, going to school in Florida is a no brainer for me. I didn't want to stay relatively close to home. I wanted to experience new things. Um, Coach Bob being from Baltimore as well, so we had kind of had common ground. And then obviously knowing the recruiting class that he was bringing in his first year as a coach at South Florida, that kind of brought me to University of South Florida.
Okay, yeah. So did you win? How many like postseason accolades did you get? One every year, like first team, second team, freshman team.
Nah, so my first year, I didn't get anything. Sophomore year, I was second team all conference, and then my junior year, I was first team all conference, and I didn't have a senior season because of COVID.
Oh, the COVID, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
going into USF, your first year at USF, what was your mentality like? Like, what were you thinking going in?
Honestly, I was some scrawny little kid coming into a brand new environment. Thank gosh, South Florida, along with a lot of Division I programs, have you come in early in the summer, so it wasn't too overwhelming because I was with our recruiting class was massive because I was his first recruiting class. So we had 10 freshmen and I think 5 or 6 transfers. So we had like almost a whole 11 coming into the university at the same time. And we came in the summer. So it wasn't too overwhelming because we were all in the same process, going through the same things together. We were getting fit together. We were getting bigger together. So that kind of made it easier.
You
That being said, I mean, it was yeah. That's about it. I got.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, do you think from your freshman to sophomore year, what was the biggest change for you in your game or physical wise? What was it for you?
Freshman or sophomore? Um, I want to say, first of all, the different major difference was the minutes I was playing. Uh, I think freshman year I started like 2/3 of the games, and then sophomore year I started I think all the games besides like one or two. That
Yeah,
was that. Having that being said, I guess I'm pretty sure my confidence, obviously, within myself and in the program, was better. I mean, I know at freshman year, in the beginning of freshman year, I kind of was. Um, I actually had a talk with our goalkeeper coach, Ryan Thompson, who I was relatively close with, and I literally pulled him to the side after one of the trainings, and I was like, I think it was like after the first or the last preseason game, I was like what's going on? Like, why am I not starting? Like, why am I not? What am I doing wrong in terms of like in the coach's eyes and whatnot? And he just told me what I needed to hear. Um, Took me a couple games to finally start that freshman year, but uh, kind of after getting my feet wet, um, it kind of just accelerated from there, and my confidence kind of grew. I kind of was able to hone in on what I was good at, hone in on using my strengths and kind of abusing my strengths in a sense, and try not to like deteriorate or not. Well, that's not the word. Try not to go away from what I'm really good at, but also working on things that I'm not good at.
fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so your sophomore to senior season, that's when you really took off and whatnot. But what was your most memorable moment at USF?
Jeez. Most
Yeah, I'm gonna
memorable.
have you thinking a bit here.
I can't even think. Mm, there's two moments that I can think of off the top of my head. First moment was actually my freshman year. First time we played you at UCF. We were at home. You hear about the rivalry and whatnot. You don't really know what it's
Yeah,
about. We get into the game. Thousands of fans. It was definitely probably, if not the most packed game I've had at University of South Florida. And we ended up winning that game 3-2 in overtime. I scored the first goal for our team to tie it up 1-1. So that first goal, that was the first goal for USF I ever scored. Um, that was a dope moment, to be honest. Then
yeah,
being able to win, walk off, because you know how college soccer, it's literally you score in overtime, you win. We scored in overtime,
yeah,
buzzer beater, everyone was lit, stormed the field, had a great night afterwards. It was good vibes. That was probably one of my favorite
yeah.
memories. And then second would be second would probably be my last game. To be honest, I knew it was my last game. I was able to play 2 games in the spring of my senior season. No, 3 games, and then I had to go to Cincy to report. Last game we played UCF at UCF. Ended up beating them. I think we beat them, yeah, 2-1. Had a really good game. Ended up being defender of the week that week as well. So those are kind of two good memories that I had or best
Yeah.
memories I had at South Florida.
I think when I played against you at FIU, I'm pretty sure like a week after the game or like 2 weeks after the game, you just got drafted. because I remember we
Really?
played
Yeah,
you because this was that COVID year you're talking about. I remember we played you and like I seen you and I was like, I don't know if this dude's supposed to be playing right now, man.
yeah. So I got drafted, and then they actually had an exception that year that players were allowed to. I mean, some people weren't even asked to come in to preseason. They were like, finish your season in the spring and then come after, or they'd be like, we want you to come in for preseason. You can play as many games as you want. That this, that, and the third. So luckily, my coach was generous enough to obviously allow me to play and allow keep my scholarship and allow me to contribute at least in those like 3 games or so.
Yeah. So before we touch up on the MLS draft and everything, throughout your years in college, you know, do you think not do you think it definitely did improve you in a way, but like in what way do you think it improved you?
Mm, um, that's a good question. Obviously, I mean, tactically, it allowed me to become more tactically aware of the game. I think I have a way better understanding of the game when going through college, playing in the system, playing in more than one system. Kind of growing up, you're used to playing in the same system in a sense. The level of coaching's well higher, but your maturity develops. That's honestly the number one thing is just maturity as well. I feel like if I had to decide if I was a high school student now with the second teams being available and college being a path and all those other options, I mean, I don't think I would have changed my decision at all, to be honest. I think I probably would have still went to college. That experience is honestly the best experience of my life, to be honest. Going to South Florida, being there for 3.5, 4 years, I wouldn't trade that for anything. I see people that don't go to college and end up signing. I mean, not necessarily signing homegrown. Signing homegrown would be dope, honestly, but like signing with a second team, for instance, or going that other path, and it's just like, bro, you can only go to college once, bro. Like, you know what
Yeah,
college is
yeah,
like. It really isn't the same. Like, there's so many different skills that you learn being in college. I mean, for instance, you literally the first time you're not living with your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're living by yourself. You're adapting to new environments and whatnot. So, those are the main things that I learned in college, just the maturity level and uh, advancing my knowledge of the game.
yeah, of course. Yeah, college is a great experience, man. You meet some of your closest homies in college as well, man.
Exactly, exactly. Like for I don't talk to anyone from my high school really. Like the only people I talk
Yeah,
to from back at home are my old teammates who don't even live at home anymore. So
yeah, yeah. So the MLS draft. This is the new topic now. So you got picked up by Cincy. First of all, were you, you know, how'd that work out for you? You know, were you expecting to get picked up by Cincy? Was it like a shocker or like were you ready for it?
no, Cincy was not on my radar. There was a couple other teams I literally can't remember off the top of my head. Um, around the so I was a second pick in the second round, and I was expected to go around the end of the first round. So there's a couple
Mhm.
teams that were floating around those picks that were potential destinations. Um, to be honest, because of COVID, there wasn't no draft in person or whatnot. Um, it was the first, I guess, virtual draft. They streamed the whole first round. So long, let me tell you, that was a very long process. I was watching it with another one of my teammates who were entered into the draft and some of our friends and whatnot. Meanwhile, I'm still in school, so we actually had to lift like a couple hours into the draft, and like the first round goes by, taking forever. We're like at pick 15, and everyone on my team starts to leave and go to the lift. I call my strength and conditioning coach. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going. Like, I'll like, that's not happening. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. And in the second round, they didn't have a stream for the second round, but they just had a live update of each pick and whatnot. And I literally like kind of just looked away. I wasn't even looking. I was talking, and I just looked out of nowhere. I literally, I think I missed my name for about two or three picks after I finally realized that I got drafted. Because I think it was my agent. My agent calls me, and I look at my phone. I see it ring, and I look at the screen. I'm like, oh snap! I just got drafted because I literally wasn't even looking. And then yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, yeah. So like, what are your thoughts on the draft? It was probably a pretty cool experience for you. But what are your thoughts on it? Do you think you had like a fair chance coming into preseason? Because I've heard a couple stories. I've heard different stories. I've had a couple guys get drafted. I don't know. I don't know if you know Pipe. He went to
Mhm.
Clemson,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
and yeah,
We pretty sure we were represented by the same person.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I trained with him before coming here, and then before he went to Ecuador, he was telling me like at least Vancouver. He was saying Vancouver didn't really treat their draft picks. He said he didn't really get a fair shot.
Yeah, yeah. For me, uh, first of all, they have a completely different coaching staff now at Cincy. So uh, I feel like I feel like I feel like I had a fair shot, to be honest. Um, I mean, every one of all the draft picks in my class, I think it was like three of us out of four signed. One of them was a GA, so two out of three Cincy.
Hmm.
I feel like I had a fair chance to get a contract. That's that's about the only thing that was fair that rookie season. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think I had a fair shot to get a contract, and I also think I played very very well that preseason. So I would have been really shocked if I didn't get a contract.
You played you played a lot of second team as well. I know because I know you played with my boy Kai, but you had a lot of minutes in the second team. Would you train with the first team at all?
So that was my second year. No, not at all. I didn't train with them one time.
Okay. And then what really did you get loaned out? You asked for a loan?
When is this?
I'm not sure, but I know
Rookie year or second year?
rookie year. Did you get loaned out or no?
Twice. I got loaned out to Orange County, then I came back, then I got loaned out to Tulsa. Both
Okay.
times, most for the most part, loans in that regard, when you're getting loaned from an MLS side to a USL side, it's almost like you don't come directly to the team, but your agent and your representatives, along with yourself, will kind of present potential locations for you to go if you're not able to get minutes or if you're not able to if you're not able to, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're not able to provide or support the team or whatnot, it's kind of like a mutual agreement in terms of sending yourself out on loan. Uh, it's not one sided at all in that regards.
Yeah. So mentally, because obviously you definitely wanted to play with Cincy. You definitely wanted to stay at the MLS side and whatnot. But like, how was that? Just going to Orange County and then to Tulsa. Like what was really your thought process going on?
For me, so initially, so to start the season, I was on the bench for a couple games, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a shot. Didn't get a shot to play at all. People started coming back from injury and international duties and whatnot. fell deeper into the depth chart, and I was like, yeah, I need to like this is killing me. Like I need to play. What is going on? Luckily, I got sent out to Orange County. Um, I literally don't have a bad word to say about Orange County at all. They ended up actually winning the USL championship that year. I was there for about 2 months. Um, really enjoyed it. Took a couple games to get going, but confidence was through the roof. I was playing a lot of winger and whatnot, and then I got called back into Cincy, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. I'm at a high right now. Like I'm playing well. They called me back. They said I'll get his chance. Was on the bench for a handful of games again. Didn't see the field once. So then people came back from injury again, international duty. Made a couple signings. Fell back in the depth chart. Was like, okay, I need to, like, I need to play. I don't like, I can't go this whole season playing like 6 or 7 games or whatnot. However many I played for Orange County. So I ended up getting sent back out to Tulsa. Uh, Joined Tulsa. Likewise, I had a great experience at Tulsa. Didn't end the way we wanted it to. I ended up picking up a little injury. Tore my AC joint in my shoulder, but tried to play through it at the end of the season. Didn't end it as we planned. Lost in the first round of playoffs, but uh, mentally it was a roller coaster to be honest. Uh, what playing for 15, 16 years the game you love, and then not making a roster, having to watch, not being able to come out on the field at all. Like even though you know you in your heart you know you can contribute. Um, it's rough to be honest. Uh, yeah, it wasn't a fun time honestly, but
Yeah,
going out on loan definitely helped out a lot. But at the same time, it's all a part of the process, and it happens. It's not only happening to myself; it happens to a lot of people.
yeah, of course. And then so after after the second year, you played mostly second team, and then after that, you went to Charleston, right?
Yeah, yeah, I signed with Charleston.
Okay, and then you you had a good season at Charleston as well, and then now you're with Charlotte. So I was gonna say like during your times just in the USL in the MLS, like what are your goals? You know, what's your end goal really? Because you know you aiming to go back to the MLS. You want to go try overseas. You know, what are you thinking?
For me, it's now just head in the right direction. Um, Personally, I know where I want to be at. I want like I have MLS. I can play at that level. I've played against a ton of players that play in the MLS. I've played against them in preseason for at South Florida. I know the level, and I know that I can play at that level. It's just about showing up each and every day and giving it my all. But personally, I do want to return back to MLS. I'm 24. I think if it doesn't happen in the next 2, 3 years or whatnot, at least before I'm 27, 28, I do want to go overseas though. If I can't reach back to the level that I know I want to reach at, I want to go overseas. I want to play uh, honestly anywhere. I just want to experience something different. Like for instance, when I left high school to go to college, that was going to Florida. That's something different. I do want to just I don't know experience what it's like, even if it's for 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Definitely want to go over there when I'm in my prime or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. So after soccer is all said and done, you know, I know that's a long road from now, but like, what are you thinking of getting into? What did you end up getting your degree in?
So I got my degree in communications. So typical uh, student athlete major, but no, I actually got into communications because I wanted to do some sports broadcasting. So South Florida had a really good program with athletes where they were able to introduce them to a mentor and whatnot. So I kind of was able to shadow and see all the ins and outs of, not all of it, but like a lot of the ins and outs of podcasting. And that's something I would want to do when I'm done playing. There's literally so many different roles you can hop into in sports broadcasting, but that's something I definitely want to do. But I don't think I'll do it right away. I think I actually would want to dive into coaching a little bit, see how that goes. And then when I'm done with coaching, if I'm ever done with coaching sports broadcasting, but other than that, that's the kind of two routes I'm going to take.
All right, we got a couple questions, just some quick questions here to end it off real quick. But the first one's gonna be:
But
do you think you're the drippiest player right now in the USL in terms of fashion wise?
in terms of fashion, I'm gonna say top five, top five, top five.
Top
I'm not
five.
gonna be arrogant. I'm not gonna be arrogant. I'm number one on my team though, without a doubt. I'm number one on my team. No
Okay.
questions asked. There's guys around the USL that I do like the way they dress. There's also guys around the MLS or the USL that wear things that I can't wear, but I'm like, yeah, it looks tough on you. Like respect, respect. But like
Uh,
for instance, some 6'5" center back can wear something that I can't wear. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna look funny with that
yeah.
on. But he rocking it. But no, I'm definitely up there. No one can question that.
Yeah, cause I played USL two in Tampa with Raheem. That's how I met Raheem. And then
Yeah,
I seen you on his Instagram a couple of times with his stuff that he's got going on too. So I see that you're into fashion a bit. So I had to ask that question. And then I seen the
yeah.
pregame fits and everything. So I was like, yeah, I gotta ask this question. So who's one of the drippiest? Who's one of the drippiest players you've played with?
What I played with, jeez, this is gonna be hard to think of. Uh, I do like Brandon Vasquez's style in terms of drippy. I don't no disrespect and no hate towards him. I like his streetwear. I haven't seen
Okay.
him wear anything else in a sense, but usually when he pulls up to the stadiums, when I was at Cincy, he'd have like a streetwear fit on or something casual, but also very elite. So, and then
Yeah, yeah.
also Jurgen Locadio. I don't even know where he's playing at, but I played with him Cincy freshman year or not for rookie year. He also he had a lot of drip. So
Yeah, yeah. No, that's sick for sure. And then what's your most memorable moment as a pro so far?
most memorable. Dang, I'm not even making no good memories. I can't even think of one. No, I'm kidding. I think honestly, probably just when I signed the contract, my first contract.
Mhm. Okay. And then who's one of the best players you've played with and then played against?
Best player I played with, Lucho Acosta. He's still at Cincy. They're 10. Yeah, he's incredible. Man's a wizard on the ball.
Yeah.
Um, played against. Dang, I can't even think of. Man, I can't even think of anyone. Not off the top of my head. To be honest, there's a lot of
Uh,
talented players. I literally just can't.
yeah.
No one that we played against was that I played against is just like, I mean, obviously they probably did dominate. I just can't recall. I'm just so focused on who I got on my team that I can't even think of anyone to be honest.
Of course. That's the good answer. That was the media trained answer you gave me right there. But in FIFA, whenever you get that FIFA card, what's your pace gonna look like?
So actually, I'm a weirdo with that. I look so we have obviously the GPSs and whatnot, and I'll be comparing my speed, like my top speed, to like players around the world and all the top leagues in Europe and whatnot. So if I base my speed on what they ran, I should be low 90s, anywhere from like a
Low.
90 to a 90 93, without a doubt.
Nah, cause I know you got some wheels, man. I know you got some wheels. But I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me, bro. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I didn't want to keep you too long, but it's been great, bro.
Of course, bro. Honestly, it was it was great being here, honestly, and I love what you're doing here. I have no issue at all joining up whenever you want.
Of course, bro. Good luck the rest of the season, and hope everything goes well. We'll touch base again soon for sure.
Thanks, bro. You as well.